TLO, what's poppin'? We are on Twitch. We are live. But by the time you see this, we won't be. So just leave a like, comment, subscribe. Turn on your post notification bells, man. Let's continue to grow the family from Chicago to the UK right behind me. You see it. A little warning screen just in case. It's 2024. A lot of people are more sensitive than they should be. So there you go. Twitch.com is where you can catch a live stream. Usernames at the bottom of the screen. And we also got a Patreon where we post 7 days a week. Premier League highlights, UK TV shows, and UK movies, man. We about to start 2 new TV shows. So hopefully we vote something good on. Because if it's not good this time, I'm stopping it immediately. And I don't want to hear oh, you got to wait a couple seasons for it to get good. I don't got that type of time. I need it to be immediately great. Anyway, Spice inside UK prisons documentary. Talk to me.
Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. No copyright infringement intended. All rights belong to their respective owners.
No, this is on a channel called Debo UK Official. Salute. I think bro just be re-uploading documentaries. I'm down for that type of energy. Talk to me.
I personally use Spice due to my anxieties and coping in prison. Not having a release date and things like that is quite hopeless. So I find myself...
His name Tony. What prison they in? It's got to be a brand new prison. They built this last year. It's fresh.
Using it to kind of cope. I've seen it ruin people's lives in terms of physically and mentally. It causes mass panic, mass anxiety, I need it.
Dang. Have I not watched a prison documentary in that long? Where it's new prisons all of a sudden in the UK?
It's a horrible drug.
This looked like the same place they was keeping the You know what? I ain't even gonna say it.
Drug man, and it's I've never seen anything like it. You know what I mean? And they call it different names, but they call it Mamba, Spice, K2. But for me, it's the green crack, because it is very highly addictive. Do you know what I mean?
Wasn't Spice legal at one point? It was like legal. You can go into the vape store and grab it, right?
I see me mate from Chester Stee and he said I've got a bit of spice here, Mamba they call it. And then he's gone, try that behind your door. I only had 4 drags, there was 7 of us in the pad. I've gone from now I am to that within seconds. And I'd only had 4 drags. And then as soon as I got up in the morning, the first thing got my head, get the Mamba, just after 4 drags. And they say your first drag could be your last.
Not gonna lie, if I was in prison watching another prisoner do that, the first thought would not be I need to try it. I'm nah, I'm good, brother. When a drug can fold you in half, we don't want to do that one. You know what I'm saying? None of them. Why does this look like a hotel? What's going on? Beautiful courtyard. Double door entry. Views on views. This is a brand new building. Is this CGI or is this real? The hell?
I first tried Spice when I was a YO. And it was a new legal high. There wasn't much hype around it. It was, it's a 2-minute buzz, it's not gonna do much for you, and it's very much like cannabis. And I naively took some from a friend thinking, oh, it's just going to be like cannabis. And it wiped me out. It absolutely took my head off.
Friend.
It made everything disappear. I didn't care. I didn't even know who I was. I couldn't tell you my name. I couldn't tell you anything. Before you know it, you're a 2 spliff a day man, and then you're a 3, 4, 5 spliff a day man, and then you're a 20 pound a day man, and then you're a, oops, addiction.
Are they? Where are they? Is this a rehab facility? Like, I'm still. Oh, H&P Berwyn, $250 million, built in 2017, holds 1,300 prisoners. Cat C. Okay, so you can go out and come back in.
I was sentenced to a life imprisonment in 1996. Now, I could have been out in 2008. But then I started smoking spice. You know, in the last 4 years, it's starting to grip. Do you know what I mean? And it's really bad now. You know what I mean? I think
he's from Wales. He sounds like Stacy and Gavin. Y'all ever watch that show? We watch it on Patreon. He sounds like Stacy. No, not Stacy. Stacy's friend, the one that got pregnant with Smitty, sounds like her.
It's starting to grip, do you know what I mean? And it's really bad now, you know what I mean? I think, you know, my worst experience was, you know, I had once, I thought I was going to die, you know, and that really scared me. But the madness of all that, you know, 5 minutes later, I was smoking again. So it doesn't deter you, do you know what I mean? You know, even though it scares me, you know, and even it scares me when I smoke, because every time I put a spliff, you know, in my mouth, you know, I know, you know,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, death is not deterring you, then
I'm dicing with, you know, something serious could happen here. Do you know what I mean?
My worst experience was a week ago. I got a particular strand that was very powerful. Then I don't know what happened. Woke up in hospital. It's like being unconscious. You're not fully aware of what's happened until later on when you get feedback. Like, they was going to resuscitate me. I was going to die. People were fearful that I was going to die. And it didn't scare me enough. I came back to prison, having got through it and recovered, and I'm okay now, you know, back to prison life, back to the grind. And straight away used again, and went straight under again. Went into a code blue again.
Brother, I'm interested to see what the rest of your life is looking like if you taking them. I understand addiction, but golly.
Only this time there was a medical response. No hospital required, as I hadn't taken as much as the previous time. Dragged off the floor and brought back out of it, yeah. I was rock bottom, and I knew I was rock bottom, but that just spurred me on to use more.
Excuse me. Hey, they got nicely manicured lawns.
What was your worst experience?
I jumped off a fence in prison off the exercise yard to get the spice, I did.
This one?
Broke 12 bones. And I still smoke it. It's daft, isn't it? I had 4 operations, done 4 months in hospital, and I'm still smoking it. I don't know what it is, I just can't kick the addiction. No.
Bro, they risking literally life and limb for this. They willing to break every bone in their body.
It's like 8 years down the line now. And I hate smoking it. I just sit there with anyone, they'll give me it and I'll be like, oh, I shouldn't have had that, I wish I never had it. But I'm not strong enough in there actually to go, nah, get lost, I don't want it.
See if I have it.
Nah. Don't think there's a way out. Yeah, in a coffin. I'll be honest with you, in a coffin, I think. I'm just stupid, I am. and addicted to it.
He fresh though. He got the Adidas double color trackie on. That's tough. I almost want to say it's pissing me off how nice this prison is. I'm getting upset a little bit.
There's never enough spice. There is never enough spice. Just like there's never enough heroin, there's never enough crack, there's never enough spice. I've previously experienced a feeling of dread. What if the person who I usually go to doesn't have any this time, who then has got some? What am I going to do if I don't have any and I've got to go behind my door, I've got to bang up, I've got to do 8 hours behind my door, rattling without anything? What am I going to do? And it brings like it's a
sober up.
Very it's a very stressful, panicky situation to be in. It involves a lot of emotional exhaustion. It involves a lot of physical exhaustion. It's an obsession and addiction. Yeah.
It's crazy. You can't even really tell. Like, you know how no, I'm pretty sure. Well, anybody. Not even gonna say that. If you know, you know. You can't even really tell like what an addict looks like on this particular item. You know what I'm saying? It's a broad spectrum of who is using this.
It's like, being a heroin addict, I've rattled, no sleeping for 2 nights, sweating, jumping in a shower, to fill that hole in my back. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I've been there, I've done all that. But with spice, I have never ever seen a drug like it. I understand fear today, what it's like to be scared, because of, I'm being bullied to do things that I don't want to do. But I know, things are getting too much now. I'm getting really uncomfortable, with my associates, things I'm doing, I'll never be released, I've been away 23 years now. For me to get out, I have to change that.
You got real life? Oh, no. He said they extended his sentence because he was on spice. Okay.
But I can't see the change. I think it's, making me depressed. Suicidal thoughts. If I carry on the way I'm going, I could be dead this afternoon.
I've seen the best of men, just go to nothing, just straight down, getting as if they'd been stamped all over and then picked back up and said, get on with it. And they're just walking around like that, they can't do it.
Anybody thinking about having it for the first time, what would you say to them?
I wouldn't go near it, honestly, I wouldn't. It's just too addictive, emotionally and mentally.
What would you say to anybody seeing this, thinking about trying it
Spice got these dudes on a chokehold for real.
for the first time?
I say think again, because they don't know what they're getting into, you know what I mean? Because, it's once you start, it'll be, it'll be hard to, do you know what I mean, stop, do you know what I mean? Because, that's what addiction means,
What happens if Gary stays on it?
Gary's going to be in prison for the rest of his life, and he'll probably keel over.
And what happens if you get into recovery?
I have a good chance of, getting out of prison, might live longer, and there's
So go to recovery. The good clearly outweighs the bad,
a lot of things that goes with that, I'm fed up with spice, I'm just sick of being sick, I feel sick, man, I've got butterflies, I'm uncomfortable, man, I'm scared, I'm searching every day, how can I get off this?
I think the help's out there.
Yeah.
And the change has to come from inside.
Yeah. I need to be brave and say, look, I'm scared, I need help. But, till I be true to myself, you say, enough's enough, which this is where it's leading to, this is, how I'm feeling today. So hopefully, walking out of here today will give me that bit of confidence and say, do you know what, I've had enough, and hopefully, you know, I can come back in 2 years and say, do you know what, I've changed it, you know, I'm not that person I was 2 years ago, and that's my dream goal. I'm going to do it, man. I know I'm going to do it.
And I hope you do. You could be moving like Billy Moore. You know what I'm saying? Giving words of encouragement, influencing the youth, helping other people change, you know?
You know, because, you know, not only, you know, am I doing it to get out of prison, I need to do it for my health and me, innit? That's it. That's all that matters, is me. Nothing else.
Gary was interviewed for this film in January. We spoke with him again 6 months later, and he still... Okay. Is this...
Is that it, yeah?
Double shot that. Very cool, apart from that.
6 months after interviewing John, we returned to check his progress, and he failed to attend our meeting day. We were informed that his addiction to spice has escalated. Escalated?
Today, I haven't used anything for 3 days now.
When you fight an addiction, that's a big thing. Remember, I always tell y'all, celebrate y'all, even the littlest wins, man. That matters.
Thank you. Every time I wake up and I want it, I remind myself of the times when I've looked at other people and seen other people running around and seen them after a few days and seen them after a week and thought, wow, well, he's all right. And he's doing all right now. Those guys are fine now. They don't touch it now. They're sweet because they've got over the rattle. They've done it. So that kind of spurs me on to just go, one more day.
We caught up with Tony 6 months later. Okay.
Tony, we interviewed you in January. What's happened since?
Just decided to sort my life out, you know. I had a real bad scare. I ended up waking up in hospital. Kind of gave me the kick up there.
So how many days sober are you, Tony?
As I needed. I think I had to believe in myself in order to make things happen, rather than looking at it as like a clinical aspect, like stop taking drugs. How do you do that if you don't believe you can? I deserve better for myself. I am worth it, you know.
When was the last time you took some spice?
Last year from there, coming up to 6 now, yeah.
Dang, okay, nice. That's what I'm saying. So as soon as they left, you had that scare, and then you was done for 5-6 months. That's good.
I know, man. It's been hard. It's been hard, trust me.
The next thing you need to get rid of is that man bun, and then you'll be like, everything will be good.
So how would your room look back in January?
Back in January? Wow. There wouldn't be anything in there. Anything. Empty. There would be no tubs, nothing to eat, nothing to drink, no sauce, probably not even the kettle. I've solved that.
Yeah. So you get crackhead tendencies off spice. You selling everything. You ain't even trying to eat. Spice before nutrition.
Food, shower gels, juice, clothes, trainers.
Well, it's well organized, ain't he?
Everything you see now, bare minimum. Whatever you're entitled to as a prisoner, that's it. Nothing else. There's no limit onto what it will take from you. It will take everything from you. When you stop, you get it all back. It's so rewarding though, getting it all back.
This is a brand new prison, and they still managing to get spice in here. Ain't no way. It gotta be from the guards. Hey, we got it.
What do I think is in spice? It's called fish food, you know, cockroach.
The science of spice. So they actually about to break it down?
It's pellets, you know, some sort of liquid, you know, detergents and all sorts, do you know what I mean?
From what I've heard, they've got stuff like cockroach killer and rat poison and all kinds of stuff in it.
I'm not surprised. Even like the highest of cocaine or any drug, like to get it to where it's at, like there's a lot of crazy stuff that you wouldn't expect to be there. Allegedly.
It's impossible to know exactly what's in it because the batch changes all the time, so it's made up of different ingredients.
Alley wheel cleaner, cockroach killer. I don't know apart from that, like.
I imagine that if it kills cockroaches, it can't be any good for us. Knowing that the cockroaches can survive nuclear fallouts.
That's a good point, Tony. Cockroaches can survive anything, so. To find out what is really in spice, we asked Professor Oliver Sutcliffe, senior lecturer in chemistry. Manchester. What is that? Manchester Community University. What is? Oh, Metropolitan.
Spice is a blanket term which is used to describe a lot of different products which contain a chemical which is known as a synthetic cannabinoid. And these are compounds which mimic the effects of cannabis and they hit the same parts of the brain that cannabis does to produce the similar effects.
Allegedly. Cannabis ain't doing some of this.
These chemicals are manufactured in the laboratory. They actually are quite complicated to synthesize and produce. You need a high level of technical expertise. There's probably about 400 to 500 different synthetic cannabinoids known to science, and the actual makeup of those spice products can vary significantly because there's potentially a wide range of different chemicals that can be put in, but also the potency can vary significantly. So the concentration of the substances, and that can lead to a very, very dangerous, almost Russian roulette scenario where individuals just don't know what potentially they're taking and how strong the substance is.
Oh my God, hold on. To find, you know what's crazy? When I was in high school and the teacher used to call on me, I used to tell her no. They used to be like, okay. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm a W reader. I'm a scholar, actually. To find out why spice has such a powerful effect on people, we asked Professor David Nutt, with 2 T's, a leading neuroscientist and psychiatrist. L reader sometimes, you know what I'm saying? These were a lot of large words back to back.
What I can say is that there's very little research on these drugs. They were tested, as all drugs are tested, in normal volunteers to see if they're safe, and they weren't. There's so little knowledge of them. They could be affecting hundreds of our chemical systems in the brain. So what we're looking at here is an MRI scan of a brain. So this is a slice through the head. So we're looking down from the top. This is the front of the brain. It's the back of the brain.
Okay.
And the yellow and red areas are areas where there's increased activity in the brain following the drug. Now, in this case, this drug is skunk. So we haven't been able to do synthetic cannabinoids and probably never will, because we don't know if they're safe to give to humans. So this is probably the best we can get. And here you see there's this very massive activation in the back of the brain here. This is why they see hallucinations. This is why they go into this strange state of dissociation. This is perhaps why they start hearing things. And then here in the front, you see this, the front of the brain is also overactivated. And that explains why they get anxiety and maybe why they get seizures.
I don't even like, that ain't something that I want. Just W editing.
And one of the most horrifying and remarkable and unexpected effects of these new forms of spice is that people go into what they call a zombie state. It switches off their consciousness completely.
Yeah, it's like heroin. It's like dog. It's like brown sugar, you know.
And so they actually don't know who they are. They don't know where they are. Sometimes they can't even stand. Other times they go stiff. We call it.
I feel like they like taking bars, if you know, you know, and like sprinkling it on there or something. Cause
catatonia.
That's crazy.
And in a sense, their body gets so overwhelmed that it can't work.
Allegedly.
They either collapse or they get locked into this situation. So we think it's probably something to do with the dopamine system in the brain. As you turn on dopamine more and more, eventually you get to a state where there's too much dopamine and you're either manic or you're paranoid, because dopamine drives paranoid thinking. But what they seem to do is disrupt brain function extraordinarily. That the impact on the brain is so powerful that people don't remember what's happened. It's like a state of extraordinary intoxication when people are so drunk they don't remember committing crimes or having fights, etc.
Y'all might know something about that in the UK, but I ain't never heard of that. Getting so drunk you forgot what? Imagine how much you gotta drink to forget everything. Like, to not remember nothing. What does spice look like? My fault.
Spice is usually found in prisons in two different forms. The first form is a form that's very similar to what we see on the street, which is a smoking blend. So this is when the chemical has been basically mixed with an inert vegetable matter, and then it's dried out, and then it's just rolled up with tobacco and smoked as you would with a joint. The other...
That looked like ramen noodle seasoning. You know, you ever get that ramen noodle, like the noodle pack, like where you put hot water in it and it come with the herbs and seasonings? That's what that looked like.
Form of spice is what we call spice paper. So this is when a piece of A4 sheet or something like that has been impregnated with the chemical and
impregnated with the chemical.
Then it is then cut up into credit card sized portions, which are then sold for significant profits within the prisons. Normally the concentration, which is shown by the orange colour on this sheet here, would be uniform across an entire sheet of paper, and that unfortunately is not the case. What we have seen is that the concentration of the active drug can potentially vary across the paper. So it means that if potentially each of those squares or those credit card sizes has a different concentration of the drug, and therefore potentially could be more harmful if it's potentially a much more higher concentration.
So there's no, for the people who's actually applying it, there's no real measure to it. They just out there trying to get it done. Hurry up. Some girl I knew smoked a spliff off a stranger and it was spice. She got taken off in the ambulance. Stranger danger. We learned that at 2, don't we? Why is it so addictive?
It's very clear that people become dependent or addicted to spice. When people go catatonic on spice, they're affecting the dopamine system. The dopamine system is also strongly implicated in, for instance, addiction to things like crack and crystal. The brain doesn't like to be in a state of such a disruption, so that when you stop using it, you go into withdrawal. And the potency of spice means that the receptors are very powerfully changed, so you get very powerful withdrawal. And you know, people have said it looks just like heroin withdrawal. You get so many physical symptoms as well as the psychological symptoms.
I could never even imagine. That sounds tough. I can't imagine. We've seen it on many episodes where people have to quit cold turkey. They get locked up in a room, chained to a heater so they won't sell stuff, jump out of rooms, and sweats, boo on themselves, throw up. What are the risks of spice?
It's almost like playing Russian roulette. Every product, potentially, there are over 400 different examples that are known, and potentially a bag or a batch of spice can contain any of those 400 substances. So what you thought you might have got one in one batch, and what you get in the second batch may be completely different in terms.
There's too much. There's too big of a guessing game involved with this. It's not uniform across the board, like with
of which chemical is present, but also how strong it is. So this variation of both the chemical makeup and also the potency is really a very dangerous and risky game to be playing.
They might actually have long-term consequences. So even if you get over and you survive the initial intoxication and this sense of dissociation and catatonia, it may end up damaging your brain so that you never fully recover. If you can avoid taking spice,
sound like gout. My bad. And what I mean by that is when you get gout and that uric acid is not able to be broken down in your system, it crystallizes over your joints, the ones that are far away from the heart. You know what I'm saying? And the colder joints. Over time, if not corrected or taken care of, the attacks will keep coming, obviously, and it can permanently damage the joints. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, make sure if you're young and you're watching this, when you drink some water. Don't go out there and eat a bunch of products. This is what happens when you get gout, when you overly drink, and then when you drink a lot when you're young, and then you eat processed foods, like processed food, sugars, and things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? Your liver or whatever. I think it's your liver or kidney can't keep up with the process. But yeah, so you get swollen. So the crystals form around the joints, and the blood cells go to fight them. And that's where there's a lot of swelling and things of that nature. Yeah. Then you can't walk. You crippled for days. So what I've discovered with my gout little stuff, you know what I'm saying, is I just stopped drinking altogether. I don't drink anymore, so I don't get gout. Simple as that. I don't drink. I eat minimum processed foods, minimum sugar. I'm pretty sure you could just stop drinking now, and you'll be straight.
Definitely avoid taking.
Drink a lot of water, though. Obviously, stay hydrated to flush anything out of you, because you know your body is made up of X amount of water.
Spice, because it's
I don't know how we just got into that.
If you can avoid taking spice, definitely avoid taking spice, because it's very difficult. It's impossible. It's impossible to know what you're taking and what effect it might have.
All right.
I only heard the spice when I came into prison on this sentence, and I seen what it did to people, and I thought, well, okay, I'll have a go, you know.
Sir!
I did like it at first, but as time went on, I grew to hate it. I started to get a bit worried because what it did to me, it enhances your fears, it enhances your worries, and that was worrying for me in itself, you know. It made me a lot more paranoid. Literally holding onto my table in my room, absolutely paranoid, scared, like that. And I couldn't move, and I was just totally in fear, you know.
And I don't want to be a dick, but you damn near sound like you deserved it. You seen what it did to somebody else, and you still partook. Life is all about choices, sir.
I was in fear. I thought my heart was pounding like I've never heard it pound before, you know.
Your heart's on the other side.
And I thought, this is it. This is my life over now, you know. I thought I was going to die. It gets you to that point where it controls you then.
Is that a cross?
And that's frightening. You feel scared because you think, my brain needs this. My brain needs this to survive. I was totally addicted to spice.
Still nothing.
I had 3.5 years where I was like that. I ended up being in debt because of it. What made me...
prison debt is much worse than regular debt.
Sort it out was 2 or 3 men on my door.
Yo! Hey! You did behind the door, man.
Where's me stuff? Where's me stuff? Where's what you owe me?
Yo, where's my fucking money, blood? Yo, tell him, man. Tell him.
Is that, what's it called? What's the name of the show? I'm drawing a blank right now. I know we all seen it with Ashley. Top Boy. That's Top Boy sounds.
You think you ain't gonna stay in there for time, blood?
You know.
That's what it sounds like.
And I was literally sitting on the toilet trying to hide from the door, thinking,
What? You coming up, blood? I'm gonna get you, blood. No matter what, when you go to, I'll get to you, blood. Think man, I'm a dickhead out here, blood.
I can't be giving with this every time, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's something that's got to give. You know, I decided I couldn't carry on like this, and something did give for me, which I'm grateful for. You know, that give was a letter from Birmingham, except saying if you want to come, you have a choice to come to Birmingham, and I made that my turning point where I stopped it. I thought, stop smoking, stop taking drugs, complete new change. I left that life behind me when I left my last prison, and I chose this as a new, as a real big turning point and a way forward, and I'm glad I did. I really am glad I did.
Man, congrats, man. I just said before he started telling us the story, that prison debt, it hit different than real world debt. All they gonna do is strike your credit in real world. In prison, they might strike your butt. Pause.
It was hard. I mean, there've been been hurdles along the way, but I had so much of a desire to change
and that's where it starts. It got to start within with anything. That change
has helped me get through to where I am now. Fairman has helped by giving me a lot of help, a lot of advice and a lot of encouragement and ways and means of filling my time positively rather than negatively. I take the positives from it. Like now, I have my canteen's my own. What I order is for me, not for somebody else. This is what I use for me cooking, all my spices and that. I'll be cooking a mackerel curry tonight, you know. So
a mackerel curry. That's the prison chef.
Yeah, I now don't have any worry about who am I going to pay, who's going to attack me because I haven't paid. I've eliminated all of that, so it's made my jail sentence a lot easier.
I mean, that's how it feels when I stopped drinking liquor. I eliminated that gout. Sorry. Oh man. Okay, let's focus. Stop, y'all. I'm blaming it on the chat, and the chat ain't said nothing. Wait a minute. Whoa. Whoa. I was just about to go back and look at the tennis court that they have ever so nicely placed over here. Oh no, that's a soccer pitch. Football pitch. They got football. They got... Looks like there's something. There's basketball right here. They got... What's this? Cricket? What's over here? They said this is the Call of Duty emblem. Oh, they got money. They got the landscaping coming in, drawing whatever they got.
How long have you been clean now?
Come the 8th of March, 1 year. 1 year.
Congrats, brother.
I feel a lot better for it, a lot healthier, and I've got a more positive outlook on life.
Congrats.
How is your life now not using?
In all honesty,
yeah.
I've swapped one spice for another spice.
What's the other spice?
The other spice is the cooking spice. I like me cooking now.
Yeah, cumin. French mustard. I heard French mustard is spicy too. Okay. Oh, soy sauce, nice. Ginger. What is that down there? Custard? What is that? Yeah, buddy, nice with it. He don't even need no measuring things or nothing.
All the things that I couldn't do before when I was in debt. So, you know, I'm slowly learning to cook like I've never cooked before.
Oh boy, gumming that down, ain't he? I know he ain't got no teeth, but he getting it. He doing what he can out here. Go back, let me see one more time.
You know, I'm slowly learning to cook like I've never cooked before.
How's it taste, John?
Congratulations, though, John. I salute. I like it. I like the change you've made.
So now I enjoy the positive spices. I'm learning that.
It gotta be tender. Somebody said it in the chat. The moment I said it, I thought about it at the same time. It gotta be tender.
There'll be a whole new world out there when I get out. You know, a whole new lot of different things that I can do, you know. And I'm really looking forward to it. I know I'm going to have a better chance of carrying on the outside. And I hope that someone somewhere out there seeing this takes positivity from it.
So anybody watching this in the prisons or this prison who is going through now what you went through, that you know, totally addicted to it, hating it, what would you say to them?
Make the change, take the plunge, but it's got to come from in there. It's got to really come from
That's
there.
Good advice.
You'll not succeed. You know, the want and the desire has got to be there, and put that into your body. Put that, instead of putting the drug into your body, put the want and the desire to be a clean, drug-free person, and you'll succeed. I've come to the point now where I realise it's only going to keep getting me into trouble. I think there's a couple of ways you can get help. You can either speak to an officer and say, listen, I'm struggling, I want to get off spice, and is there any help available for me? And they will direct them to the peer support groups, mental health, healthcare in here is very good. They have substance misuse team who are very good, and they will help them and point them in the right direction. You know, so there is plenty of help available for people.
It's just up to you to take it. We caught up with John 6 months later. It's nice. Very nice. You got a little farm in there for agriculture.
I never did, no. I never thought I would. I've been on it for 35 years now, and the letter that I got under the door changed my life. It changed it around, and I know, given the chance, there will be other people that would be the same. So it was a big boost for me. As I say, I'm now 18 months into that, and I'm really doing well.
Wait, what?
I've got a really good chance of coming home before Christmas now.
What will you do if you did get
well, I want to give something back to the prison, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some voluntary work in the community and on substance misuse. I think what I've learned whilst I was in Birmingham was brilliant, and I think passing it on to somebody else, a bit of knowledge, hopefully it will stop them from going to prison, you know. So yeah, give them something back to the community.
No, that's real.
Tough, you know. That's my main goal.
That's real. I can salute that, man. I can salute that. It's a good documentary by the creators of it. If you creators watch this by any chance, and you don't want it on here, I just DM me. Leave a comment. I will immediately take it off. Don't do all the extra stuff. Salute, though.